It's gonna be alright, 'cause I love you, girl. Ain't nobody gonna stop us now.
Friends, people stop him in the airports, they stop him in the streets, at restaurants, wherever he struts himself, he gets stopped because he looks very much like the real thing. Yes, we're talking about Rod Stewart. This guy has got the ladies screaming themselves mad. They go hoarse. And why? Well, he's got that high-definition jawbone. He's got the spiky blonde hair, a natural raspy voice that sounds very much like Rod Stewart. My guest is a dead-on Rod Stewart impersonator. Rob Keller's on the line to talk to us. He's in Australia touring at the moment and here for the next 2 days too. Rob, it's nice to have you with us. Welcome in.
Oh, thank you, Leigh. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Lovely to talk to you again on the program. How's the tour been going, pal? Tell me.
Oh, it's been great. It's been great. I love coming to Australia. It's always a pleasure. Everybody here is so very nice, kind. You know, it's been great. It's been a great run.
And the weather's been good to you?
Yeah. It's not what I expected. I've only ever been here in the summertime, so it's a lot different than I'm used to here. So.
You can cool off a little bit at this time of the year, which is pretty good. Let's go back in your life a little bit, because this all happened for you when you're about 17 years of age, didn't it?
Yeah. That's when people started coming up and telling me I look like Rod Stewart, and I didn't even know what Rod Stewart looked like at the time, so I figured it out pretty quick, though. So yeah.
Well, it was the blonde hair and the way you were talking and so on, wasn't it?
It was just. I think it was just the nose more than anything. The nose, and I wasn't so much. I was a bass player actually. I wasn't really much of a singer. I mean, I did sing a little, but not very much. But people just told me I looked like him, and then I saw pictures of him. I was like, oh, I could see maybe what people think I look like.
Yeah.
Him.
So there was no plastic surgery. It was all there for you.
Yeah, no, that was it. No. I broke my nose quite a few times. That kind of helped.
I reckon Rod Stewart might have done the same thing, don't worry.
Yeah.
Now, you began your music career after graduating from high school, and you moved to Memphis.
Yes, I actually moved to Memphis to go to, it's called Memphis State and University of Memphis. And I was going to have to sit out a year before I started college. And then before you know it, we lucked out and got a record deal with RCA with a band called The Breaks. And we opened for Hall & Oates and Rick Springfield and the Tubes. And so that kind of dashed my college hopes. I was more into being a musician than I was being a student. So,
but that was certainly the big break that you needed, wasn't it?
It was. It was just, it's really fun. It's just kind of basically it is luck. It's really, because we had a great band, great talent in the band, but it wasn't so much, me individually. It was the whole band. We just kind of had a great chemistry together.
1996, you realised then that you really couldn't escape this look that you had, and you decided to go solo and do impersonation. Tell us about that time.
I was actually I did some session work with Joe Walsh from the Eagles. Joe was recording in Memphis, and I played bass on some stuff he did. My brother played drums, I played bass, and of course, the first night I met Joe, he's like, man, you remind me of a good friend of mine. And so I started, and I was like, oh, God, here we go. And he said, you ever think about doing impersonation? And I said, that sounds like the cheesiest thing I've ever heard. But I went to Las Vegas, saw a show, and found out how much money they were making compared to how much money I was making. And I'd just become a father, so I was like, you know what? When you get to be, you start getting to a certain age, you're like, they want 21-year-old artists. They don't want, somebody in their 30s. So, that's when I just jumped on the train. And back then, there wasn't a lot of people doing Rod Stewart impersonations. There's a few, but not many. So.
But you see, Rod Stewart, he's in his 70s too now, and look, he's as popular today as what he was back in the 60s.
It's amazing. We just saw him in Vegas in August, and at Caesar's Palace, and I mean, he's 71 years old and amazing. He can still kick a football. I don't know. I mean, he kicked it up in the second tier, quite a few of them. I mean, he's still out there, rocking. I mean, his voice. I mean, he doesn't sing quite as high as he used to, but he's still got that tone, and he's just great performer.
Rob, I think there's a certain amount of appeal in what he's doing these days because he's gone back with the songbooks and so on and produced some great songs from a golden era.
Yeah. He did that. Yeah, he did that a few albums back, and of course, since then he's done actually a couple of original albums where he wrote most of his stuff, and it's great stuff. It kind of harks back to the every picture tells a story, that kind of feel to it, with the violins and the mandolins and stuff and the acoustic guitars. It's great stuff. It really is. Great
Rob,
music.
how hard is it to be an impersonator, particularly for Rod Stewart like you're doing? Was there a lot of study involved in that to get the moves right and so on?
Yeah, that was the hardest thing. The vocally, that wasn't that challenge because I was a singer. I became, I was a bass player, and then I quit playing bass. I just started standing up and singing, and vocally, it wasn't that hard. It's not easy. Nobody can sing that. It's not easy music to cover. It's high and it's hard in your voice. But I had a real resilient voice. But a lot of it's just the British accent for me because I'm a Southern guy. I'm a Memphis guy.
Yes.
That was hard for me.
How did you get around that then?
Like any other actor, you just kind of study it and listen to it, and figure out the dialect and. Of course, it's funny because sometimes in the States when people hear me talk and, say mate or something, they say, "Are you from Australia?" I'm like, "No, it's a British thing, too." I've been accused of that a few times.
Have you? Yeah. Well, it does happen, mate.
Yeah.
You've got to drop that A bit, mate. Mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Okay.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Oh, it's one of those things. And pal, do you use the word pal in the States a lot?
Pal? No, not really. No.
It seems to be coming out here a little bit now, pal and mate, and you get this mate and pal, and it's one of those things that we just do, I suppose, a bit of slang, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was actually really good friends with John Entwistle from The Who, and John was another person that encouraged me to do this. But when I first met John, I couldn't hardly understand a word he said because he had that real deep voice, and he had that real
beautiful
British accent. But I kind of learned a lot from just hanging out with him. So,
tell me about America's Got Talent. You're on season 3. You were eliminated at the audition. What happened to you?
I was going through a divorce at the time, and I drove 5 hours. I live on the East Coast now. And I was going through divorce, trying to take care of 2 sons. I've been a single father since 2005, and I was going through a divorce at the time, so it was pretty rough on you physically. I went and auditioned, drove home. They called me the next morning, so I turned around and drove back, late that night after I found somebody to watch my sons. And I got there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I didn't go until 6:30 in the evening.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was pretty brutal, And I went to him and said, if you don't put me on in the next half hour, I'm leaving.
Yeah, don't blame you.
But it wasn't a fun experience, and they edited everything. It was completely different than what it appeared on TV.
Yes.
Which I found out about reality TV really quick. So.
Well, that's the same in Australia. Of course, it's all edited down here too, and you only see the bits that the producers or directors want you to see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they edited in. Yeah, it was just a strange experience. Am I happy I did it? I don't know. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It did. It's a high-profile thing, but I've had much better high-profile gigs than that, I can promise you.
Well, if the judges were to look at you now and see what you're doing with Rod Stewart, I'm going to say, what a bad decision they made back then.
You know what's weird? Those people were. I don't think they care one way or the other. I really don't think they like people that do tributes. That's just. Of course, I've met a lot of other actors that have been, very, very encouraging and positive. But when you're on a talent thing, they didn't like anything about the impersonation or tribute thing. You could tell they weren't real big fan of that kind of stuff. So.
Rob, what about your outfits you have?
Oh man, it's kind of. It's kind of painstaking, but I try to keep things current, what Rod's wearing now or the last couple of years or so. Man, he changes all the time. I've got blue suits, I've got purple suits, I've got pink, yellow. It's military looking stuff. It's just part of the gig, but it's constantly changing. It's constant. It's a kind of a pain. I don't do leopard skin. I don't do spandex. I've never done any of that stuff. Thank goodness Rod got a little more taste as he got older.
Yes. So in the show you change a number of times. That must be very, very fast for you.
Oh yeah. It's and a lot of times the next song was starting. You're backstage, half dressed. You're freaking out, trying to, throw your clothes on and run out there and act like, oh, yeah, I'm ready to go. So,
Go on.
Yeah,
So the sweat on the brow, wiping the face, and out you go, and the makeup's running all over the place, eh?
there you go. But the hair's easy because I just run my hands through it, and God bless me with a big, nice hair and a big nose, so it works out great for me. So.
What's your favourite Rod Stewart song?
I don't really have a favorite. I love singing "I Am Sailing" because it was never a single in the States. They never even released it as a single in the States.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that when you go overseas that are hits. I don't want to talk about was never a huge hit in the States. But all those, I have a favorite for a while. Like I do "Baby Jane." I'm not doing it in the show here, but that's been kind of fun for me lately because it's really a challenge vocally. I mean, I do everything in the original key, and that can be it can be difficult. Especially when you're traveling, you're not getting much rest. Yeah, but it's all fun. I mean, I love. He has written and he's covered a lot of great songs. So.
How many in the band you've got?
We've got 2 guitars, bass, keyboards, drums. We have like 7-piece band. Yeah.
Rob,
and, we have Ashley Toole doing Share, so she comes out. We do a couple of duets together. It's like it's kind of a surprise thing, and it's songs that they were on Rod's albums, but they were never like big hits. And that's really fun. It's a lot of fun. And I do a duet with another Chrissy who sings backup in the band, Chrissy Thomas, and we do a duet together. It's cool. I mean, I love singing with other people, especially if they're great singers.
Well, you're a wonderful chap. It's a great show. We ask our listeners, please put this on your calendar. It's on tonight. If you live out in the western suburbs, Taylor's Lake Hotel in Melbourne. There's a booking phone number there at 8692 7107. That's 8692 7107. That's for tonight, the 4th of November. And tomorrow night, the Palms at Crown, a wonderful venue. You've never played there, Rob?
No, I've never really, performed. I've never really performed any big, huge theaters like the one in at the Crown. I hear that's a gorgeous, great sounding room.
It is. It's a beautiful theatre. You'll love it there. You really, really will. Now, you're there tomorrow night, Saturday the 5th of November, and the bookings are on 136-100. 136-100. Go and see this man. He's got a great story and a wonderful show to present for you. Rob Caudill, thank you for your busy time today. I know you're travelling. You're on the road. I do appreciate that. I wish you well down here in Melbourne over the next couple of days.
Well, thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Hope to see you at the show.
You will do. Thanks for talking to us.
Okay, take care.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.